Barron Trump's towering height will have you whipping your head around to watch him strut into a room. With both his parents being significantly tall, it's no wonder the youngest Trump easily towers over both of them. But this just makes you wonder what on God's good earth this guy's eating. Thanks to his mother's Slovenian heritage, reports have it that Barron's diet is filled with a lot of Slovenian dishes. How true is this? And what does Barron Trump typically eat in a day? Let's find out. All about Barron Trump. Before we jump right into his meal choices, here's a thought for you. Just how tall do you think Barron is? When his father, Donald Trump, first took office back in 2016, the then 10-year-old Barron was almost as tall as his father's 6'3". It was a moment of clarity for Donald and Melania. Their son, Barron, was going to be a giant, literally towering over them. Barron had been born in May of 2006, a year after his parents' lavish 2005 wedding. Interestingly, when the couple learned that they were expecting a child, Donald was a bit taken aback by the news. According to Melania, he had come home one day, and she popped the news that he was about to become a daddy again. Shocked, Donald needed a moment to take it all in, but once the initial surprise wore off, he was the happiest Melania had ever seen him. Donald would later share that he expected they were going to have children, but he was surprised by how quickly it all happened. During his birth, Donald chose not to be present in the delivery room, explaining he thought it would be easier for Melania if he wasn't there. Later on, Melania shared that her 8-hour labor was, in fact, very, very easy. Choosing a name. Despite Donald's initial excitement about the name Barron, things took an unexpected turn when it came time to actually name their son. When it came to naming the little boy, Donald was the one to choose the perfect name. For a while, he'd wanted to name one of his children Barron, but he hadn't had the opportunity to, at least not until his son with Melania was born. According to him, he had proposed the name to his wife, and she loved it. However, when it came time to actually name the baby, Donald had second thoughts about the name. In an interview, he shared, "It's a name I've always loved, but I never dared to use. I gave the idea to Melania, and then I was going to take it away at the very end, and she said, 'You can't take it away. I've been calling him Barron while he's been in my stomach, and you just can't take it away.'" The name finds its roots in several languages, including Old French, Hebrew, and Scottish. In all languages, however, the name translates to warrior or son of strength. Pretty befitting, isn't it? Growing up in the spotlight. Anyway, Barron would soon grow up to learn that growing up in the spotlight wasn't an easy task. Sure, he had older siblings who were used to living under scrutiny, but none of these siblings had spent their childhoods in the White House. But while Barron might have grown up in the White House, he's been fairly shielded from the outside world and has somehow found a way to live outside of the spotlight. Most of his childhood was spent at his family's lavish penthouse in New York City while he attended prestigious private schools on Manhattan's Upper West Side. Even when Donald was first elected president and began his term in January 2017, Barron and Melania had stayed behind in Manhattan so that he could finish the school year. Later that summer, he enrolled at St. Andrew's Episcopal School in Maryland and officially moved into the White House with the rest of the family. Unlike his father, Barron tends to lean into the quieter air that surrounds his mother. While his older siblings, Ivanka, Donald Trump Jr., Eric, and Tiffany, took a more hands-on role in their father's first term, Barron's privacy was heavily guarded. It must have had a lot to do with his age, but also his mother's protectiveness. It was only recently, with his father's 2024 presidential campaign, that Barron made more of an effort to publicly support his father's presidential race. Although he continued to largely stay out of the spotlight, even declining an opportunity to serve as an at-large delegate for Florida at the Republican National Convention, he did attend his first campaign rally in support of his father in July. Following his father's win, Barron also appeared on stage for his father's victory speech, during which the president expressed his gratitude for his children. Barron's education. When it comes to his education, Melania and Donald have made it their life's mission to provide him with the best there is. Barron grew up attending some of the country's most prestigious schools. While living in New York City, he was enrolled at Columbia Grammar and Preparatory School on Manhattan's Upper West Side. Even after his father took office, Barron remained in New York to finish the school year. It's unclear what most of his classmates thought of him, but they must have really liked him, at least after the grand gesture he was able to pull off. During his final year at Columbia Grammar, Barron organized a special trip for his entire 5th grade class. About 80 students, along with their teachers and Secret Service agents, traveled to Washington, D.C., where they visited the White House and met Barron's father. Also toured major landmarks and spent a night at a hotel before returning home. In May 2017, the Trumps had officially stepped into their new roles as the first family, but at the time, one member was noticeably missing. Since Barron had stayed behind in New York to complete his education, he hadn't initially moved in with the rest of his family into the White House. It was also around this time that the Trumps announced that Barron would be attending St. Andrew's Episcopal School in Potomac, Maryland. This decision broke a long-standing tradition among first families. Previous presidential children, including those of the Obamas, Bushes, and Clintons, had all attended Sidwell Friends, a well-known Quaker school in D.C. and Bethesda, Maryland. Tuition at St. Andrews reportedly cost around $40,000 per year. Despite growing up in the public eye, Barron was initially hesitant about moving into the White House. His father shared that at just 9 years old, Barron struggled with the idea of leaving behind his friends and school in New York. "It's a whole change of life," Donald said at the time. However, Donald reassured his son that being president meant helping people, including children like him. "That makes him happy," he added. "He's strong, smart, and he gets it." After Donald's presidency ended in 2021, Barron moved to Florida and enrolled at Oxbridge Academy in Palm Beach. He graduated with the class of 2024 before heading to New York University later that fall. By September 2024, Barron had officially started his freshman year at NYU. On September 4, security officers at the school confirmed his arrival, and he was spotted outside the campus library, accompanied by Secret Service agents. That same month, Melania spoke about Barron's college choice in an interview where she emphasized that it was entirely his decision. According to her, he wanted to be in New York, to study in New York, and to live in his home. And I respect that. She also praised her son's character, calling him an incredible young man and highlighting his intelligence, kindness, and strength. By December, Barron had apparently gained quite the reputation on campus, with one source sharing that he was popular with the ladies. He's tall and handsome. A lot of people seem to think he's pretty attractive. Yes, even liberal students like him, they shared. By the time Donald's second term began in January 2025, Barron had already started his studies at NYU. While he primarily lived at Trump Tower in New York City, his mother, Melania, confirmed that he would have a room set up at the White House for whenever he wanted to visit. She went on to share in an interview, "I feel as parents, we guide our children until they are 18 or 19. Then we give them the wings to fly. I always respect Barron's choices about where he wants to be." When it comes to his political affiliation, aside from the obvious, Barron isn't exactly very vocal about these sorts of things. In fact, he recently attended his first campaign rally in July 2024. Joining his father in Doral, Florida, Barron made his first appearance at a campaign rally. From the stage, Donald acknowledged the milestone, joking about his son's growing popularity. In his words, "You're pretty popular, he might even be more popular than Don and Eric. So, Barron, it's good to have you. He's had such a nice, easy life." Now, that's a little bit changed. Interestingly, beyond his education and political family life, Barron has the unique advantage of being bilingual. Fluent in both English and Slovenian, his mother's native language, he grew up speaking Slovenian with his grandmother. Melania, who has always emphasized the importance of multilingualism, was proud of Barron's language skills but also aligned with her husband's stance on public language use. According to her opinion, the more languages you speak, the better, but when you come to America, you speak English. With his background, education, and linguistic skills, it's no surprise that Barron continues to carve out his own path while growing up in the spotlight. But these days, being a teenager in the spotlight doesn't guarantee armor against online backlash. It's why Barron is no stranger to it. He's no stranger to backlash. Barron tries to keep out of the public eye as much as possible, but even with his limited online presence, he still sometimes finds himself amid criticism. His first major pushback was during his father's first term. Barron had faced attacks online, all of which related to Donald's method of governing and the polarizing nature of his presidency. As the youngest Trump, Barron was often scrutinized despite being a minor, prompting criticism of those who targeted him for his father's actions. Some of these critics were former first daughters Chelsea Clinton and Jenna Bush Hager, both of whom knew very much what it felt like to be the center of attention and to be criticized for their father's actions. Amid the online bullying, Chelsea posted on X on several occasions, asking others to give Barron the chance to grow up without so much criticism. In response to the negative articles, she wrote, "It's high time the media and everyone leave Barron Trump alone and let him have the private childhood he deserves." Jenna, on the other hand, also spoke out about how the attacks on Barron made her mad because, the truth is, obviously, Barron Trump didn't ask his dad to run for president. It wasn't his decision. Considering the kind of backlash Barron receives for simply being the son of a president, it's not surprising that Melania is incredibly protective of him. Melania herself has always been known for her privacy, both during her modeling career and her first time as First Lady. After Donald left office in 2021, she remained just as reserved, focusing primarily on her son. Back in 2023, one source shared that Melania's friends are her family members. According to them, while many Mar-a-Lago members see her regularly, she keeps her social circle tight. She doesn't spend time gossiping or socializing with club members and has always surrounded herself with family. The source also added that Melania is a devoted mother and fiercely protective of Barron. That has never changed. Interestingly, a video clip of a much younger Barron resting in his mother's arms made its rounds around the internet. In the video, Barron is asked a question, and when he speaks, it's pretty clear whose voice he was mimicking. Many netizens were quick to point out that the well-spoken young boy spoke with a hint of his mother's accent. Naturally, this meant that Melania was not only very present in her son's life, but he also loved her very dearly. And it doesn't look like things have changed. A decade later, Melania still gazes at Barron with so much admiration shining in her eyes. Melania's parents have also played a very important role in Barron's upbringing. Both her parents, who moved to the Trump family property at Mar-a-Lago, made such an impact on the young man's life. According to several sources, his grandparents were especially close to him, with Melania's mother, Amalija Narves, being deeply involved in his life until her passing in January 2024. Months later, sources reaffirmed that Melania's primary focus remained on her son. An insider shared that Barron is shy and reserved, and she has been a great mother to him. She has always been family-oriented, and while she has done some charity work, her top priority has always been taking care of Barron and handling family matters. As he grew older, Melania remained his confidant. By December 2024, sources shared in interviews that she continued to be his sounding board, helping him navigate life in the public eye. One source added that although Melania worries about the division in the country and how it affects her son, who has nothing to do with any of it, she tries to keep his life as normal as possible, if that's even possible. But perhaps one of the most intriguing things about Barron is his height. We mentioned earlier that he was almost as tall as his father when he was only 10 years old. Now that he's a legal adult, his height is even more incredible. Barron's height. The topic of Barron's height is a rather interesting one. According to Donald, Barron is currently 6 feet, 7 inches tall. According to comments Donald made while speaking at his presidential campaign headquarters in Des Moines, Iowa, in January 2024, his teenage son is already towering over him at 6 feet, 7 inches. This stature places him alongside basketball stars such as LeBron James, Bam Adebayo, and Brandon Miller. And he's likely to get taller considering he hasn't stopped growing yet. Although we all know Barron's impressive height is a result of both his parents' genetics, Donald often attributes his son's height to him eating all of the food that his late grandmother, Melania's mother Amalija, would make for him. Speaking of basketball, one news outlet reported that Donald called Barron a special boy during one of his speeches, adding, "I said you're gonna be a basketball player." He said, "Well, I like soccer, Dad, actually. I thought, at your height I like basketball better, but you can't talk them into everything. What's Barron like at school? Before diving into what Barron Trump eats in a day, let's take a look at what life has been like for him at school, because it's been anything but ordinary. Now a freshman at New York University, Barron has sparked curiosity among his classmates, with mixed reactions to his arrival. Some are intrigued by his presence, while others find the circumstances surrounding him quite unusual. According to reports, Barron followed some peculiar rules during his high school years, the majority of which he has yet to shake off. A former classmate revealed that he was never left alone, not even during something as simple as a trip to the restroom. Secret Service agents accompanied him everywhere, ensuring his safety at all times. According to the classmate, he had multiple agents who would rotate throughout the day, and there was always one with him wherever he needed to go. If he went to the bathroom, they would go with him and wait outside. Barron's security detail wasn't just limited to the hallways. Even during class, his agents would stand right outside the door, never more than a few steps away. His classmate also mentioned that Barron completed a significant portion of his coursework online, likely to minimize the disruptions that came with being the son of a former president. Another striking detail about Barron's school life was his lunchtime routine, or lack thereof. Despite visiting the cafeteria to socialize with friends, he was rarely seen eating. The classmate recalled that he never ate lunch at school. Instead, he would always come to the lunchroom, hang out with friends, but never actually eat anything. He never really explained why, just that he preferred to wait until he got home. His decision to skip lunch remains a mystery, but given his strict security protocols and highly publicized life, it's possible that he preferred the privacy of home for something as routine as a meal. Barron, who attended Oxbridge Academy under the alias Jack, for security reasons, was described as very mysterious by those who knew him. Despite his quiet nature, he had moments where he would unexpectedly start random, entertaining conversations. However, his social life was notably different from that of an average high school student. He never attended dance classes, rarely showed up for football games, and, according to a friend, didn't go on dates. I don't think he met up with anyone outside of school, the classmate added. He never got a chance to enjoy a normal high school experience. Now at NYU, Barron's presence on campus has sparked a variety of reactions. Some students have expressed sympathy for him, recognizing that he didn't choose to grow up in the public eye. In fact, one student shared that they feel really bad for him. In their words, his dad is his dad, but he's his own person. I'm not going to judge him based on that. Another student agreed, adding, of course, who wouldn't want to be friends with a Trump? However, others speculated that Barron might have to adjust to NYU's predominantly liberal environment if he wanted to fit in, with one student joking that, if he's at all interested in girls, he's going to become kind of liberal, I'll tell you that. Despite the political climate, several classmates said they were willing to judge Barron on his own merit rather than any preconceptions tied to his last name. Interestingly, Barron's college choice was a topic of discussion within his family, with Donald revealing that his son had initially considered following in his father's footsteps at the University of Pennsylvania's Wharton School. Trump said of NYU, "It's a very high-quality place. He liked it. We liked NYU. I've known NYU for a long time, it's one of the highest-rated schools." Though Wharton was an option, Barron ultimately chose NYU, a decision that aligns with his lifelong connection to New York City. The campus is located just a short distance from Trump Tower, where Barron spent much of his childhood before moving to Washington, D.C., in 2017. Barron still nurses his passion for soccer even though he has often been described as quiet and reserved. His father mentioned that he plans to continue playing the sport in college. During his time in Washington, D.C., Barron played for one of D.C. United's youth teams, and his enthusiasm for the sport has remained strong. Whether he'll join NYU's soccer team or play recreationally remains to be seen, but given his dedication to the sport, it wouldn't be surprising to see him stay involved. In all, Barron's school experience has been far from ordinary. From being shadowed by Secret Service agents at all times to choosing not to eat lunch at school, his life has been shaped by the extraordinary circumstances of being the son of a former president. Now stepping into adulthood, Barron continues to navigate life in the public eye while forging his own path at NYU. Whether he remains politically involved, pursues soccer, or takes a different direction entirely, one thing is clear: his journey is one that many are watching with curiosity. Now, we've come down to the big question on everyone's minds: what does Barron really eat in a day? Well, let's find out. What Barron eats. Barron's impressive physique begs the question of what exactly he fuels his body with. For starters, according to his father, Barron's towering stature can be attributed to his late grandmother's cooking. Donald explained that Barron's height was largely influenced by the meals she prepared, joking that Barron only ate her food. In his words, "That's how he got so tall, he only ate her food." While he might have meant it as a joke, there's an iota of truth to this, as it seems Barron's height isn't just the result of good genes but also the influence of some truly great meals. Research shows that a healthy diet plays a key role in promoting growth and maximizing height potential, especially during childhood and adolescence. Some of the nutrients responsible for this are protein, which supports tissue and muscle development, calcium, which strengthens bones, allowing for proper bone growth, and vitamin D, which aids calcium absorption and bone formation, essential for height growth. Zinc and healthy fats also contribute. All of these nutrients together form a balanced diet that ensures the body has the necessary tools to grow. So while genetics determine height, good nutrition also helps reach their full potential. And if he enjoyed his grandmother's cooking as much as his parents claim, Barron must have gotten some really good nutrients from the traditional Slovenian dishes. While specific details about the dishes Barron's grandmother, Melania, prepared for him are not publicly documented, her influence on his upbringing is evident. Given Melania's Slovenian heritage, it's plausible that she introduced Barron to traditional Slovenian cuisine. Staples of Slovenian cooking include dishes like gansi, a type of cornmeal mush, hota, a hearty sauerkraut and bean soup, and various pastries such as potica, a rolled nut bread. These comfort foods packed full of incredible nutrients might have been part of the meals she lovingly prepared for her grandson. While it's amusing to think of Barron's height as the result of his grandmother's cooking, it's safe to say that his nutrition was carefully monitored long before he reached his current height. Unlike his father, who is known for his fast food habits, perhaps due to a fear of being poisoned, Melania has always placed a strong emphasis on health and nutrition. It's why many speculate that Barron's diet has been shaped by his mother's commitment to healthy eating, as Melania is known for keeping a fit figure through a balanced diet. Although specific details about Barron's daily meals aren't widely available, it's reasonable to infer that his diet mirrors his mother's approach to healthy living. So, what's Melania's diet like? Melania reportedly starts her day with a smoothie made from blueberries, carrots, spinach, fat-free yogurt, and apple juice, ensuring she consumes at least 7 servings of fruit daily. She loves fruits like apples and peaches, but is also mindful of portion sizes, indulging in treats like dark chocolate and ice cream on occasion. Given her dedication to maintaining a healthy lifestyle, it's likely that Barron follows a similar eating routine. Reports suggest that Melania also finds time to cook family meals at Trump Tower, where she encourages healthier eating habits for her husband and Barron. These meals likely include lean proteins, fresh salads, and vegetables, all of which align with her own dietary preferences. In addition to a nutritious diet, Melania has been very vocal about ensuring Barron gets enough exercise, which likely contributes to his growth and physical development. Plus, this is also where Barron's love of soccer comes into play, as he gets to exercise as well as have fun. Whether he continues playing soccer at New York University or pursues other activities, it's clear that physical fitness plays an important role in Barron's life. His father, on the other hand, isn't particularly known for his healthy diet. Donald's diet has long been a subject of fascination and criticism. Known for his love of fast food and snacks, his eating habits mirror a lifestyle that leans heavily on convenience and indulgence, with little focus on health-conscious choices. Unlike his son and wife, Donald's diet is characterized by fast food, lots of snacks, and an aversion to vegetables, making it quite distinct from the habits of many people who prioritize balanced, nutritious meals. Donald himself has often admitted that his diet isn't the healthiest, acknowledging in interviews that he could stand to lose a few pounds. Either way, fast food remains a central component of his regimen, and he's particularly fond of McDonald's, Kentucky Fried Chicken, pizza, and Diet Coke. In fact, during his first presidential campaign, a report revealed that Donald often dined on 2 Big Macs, 2 Filet-O-Fish sandwiches, and a chocolate malt. He would reportedly wash it down with up to 12 cans of Diet Coke each day. However, he has consistently stated that he does not drink alcohol, coffee, or tea, and his go-to snack is often a pack of Oreos. When it comes to breakfast, Donald's meal typically includes bacon and eggs, often served with 3 eggs over easy and medium-cooked bacon. While he has also mentioned that he sometimes skips breakfast, this hearty morning meal is a staple of his diet. Despite his love of fast food, Donald does not completely avoid vegetables. He's been known to enjoy a salad, typically with Thousand Island dressing. During his time at Mar-a-Lago, there was even a dish called Mr. Trump's Wedge Salad on the menu. Nonetheless, his intake of vegetables seems minimal compared to his fondness for more indulgent foods. Donald's sweet tooth is also a well-known part of his diet, as he's particularly known to be a fan of desserts, especially vanilla ice cream, cake, and cookies. Interestingly, his reported love for sweets is so pronounced that during his presidency, it was said that the White House was stocked with Oreos and other sugary treats. One of his favorite desserts is the famous Trump chocolate cake, which he served to Chinese President Xi Jinping during a dinner in 2017. According to reports, Donald casually informed Xi about a missile strike on Syria while they were enjoying the dessert. Irrespective of the amount of junk he consumes, in 2023, at the age of 77, Donald boasted about his improved health and cognitive function, even claiming that his junk food diet had not affected his well-being. Unsurprisingly, as the 2024 election approached, Donald made headlines for another stunt involving food. He worked a shift at McDonald's in Pennsylvania, making fries and handing out bags of McNuggets and cheeseburgers. When asked what he liked most about McDonald's, he enthusiastically replied, "I love it all." Although it's unclear if Barron has as much of a sweet tooth as his father, it's possible that he might have been influenced and might indulge every once in a while. What do you think Barron eats in a day? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. To enjoy more exciting videos, click play on the video on your screen. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you get notified when a new video drops.